So every year in the NFL, not every year, that's an exaggeration, but often we see between the 8 divisions in the NFL a story where a team goes from last place to first place in one season. And there's a variety of factors that play into that, right? You need to have the right weapons on the team that's going from last to first, but also that team needs a little bit of luck because, for instance, if you're in the AFC West this year, I don't care how bad you were last year and how good you can be this year, the Chiefs are almost certainly winning that division. It's a really tough division across the board. The Jaguars were the quintessential last to first place team. In fact, they went from last in the NFL to first in their division and then won a playoff game, which is something we really don't see very often. But the Jaguars were able to do that because they got that combination of they were in a weak division. Things did not work out with the Indianapolis Colts. The Titans could not stay healthy. And the Jaguars hit their stride at the right time. They were able to win that division through adding a lot of weapons for their young quarterback, as well as adding a Super Bowl champion head coach. Everything fell into place for the Jaguars in 2022 for that run to happen. Jaguars in the playoffs, beat the Chargers, lose to the eventual Super Bowl champion Chiefs. So, this season, I wanted to look through, before we get rolling into the regular season, I wanted to look at all of the divisions in pro football, look at the last place teams from last year, and sort of take a look at who might be able to be this year's last to first place team. So here are those teams that finished dead last in their divisions last year. And as I go through this list on the AFC side, the Jets, super tough division, wouldn't be my first pick to win the division, so wouldn't also be my first pick to be that last to first place, though the Jets definitely are going to be competitive in that division, and it could happen. Like, they are in the conversation, but that's not a slam dunk. The Broncos are not winning their division. Sean Payton's a great hire, but frankly, the Broncos play with the Chiefs in the same division. It's not happening. The Browns are in a similar position like Deshaun Watson. Again, if he gets back to his form that he was at towards the end with the Texans, the Browns could be a good team, but I don't see them competing with the Bengals or the Ravens. The Texans are a bad roster with a raw rookie quarterback. They're not winning their division. The Commanders are in a tough division. They're not winning their division. The Cardinals are missing their quarterback for at least a little while longer, I would think. I can't imagine he's going to play early in the year, but maybe I'm wrong. Even if Kyler Murray plays, though, that team is in a tough division, and they probably aren't going to be very good. I'm going to come back to the Bears, and then the Falcons play in a weak division, so that part lines up well for them, but I think Derek Carr with the Saints is just a better quarterback than what the Falcons are working with right now. I also think the Saints are just better suited right now for winning that division. Weak division, so the Falcons are certainly in the conversation, but the Bears are the team, in my mind, that are best suited to make this kind of switch over from worst to first in their division. And the biggest piece with this, there's a few big pieces, but the biggest piece with this is the Bears were willing to spend to give Justin Fields a fighting chance. And I see a lot of the Jaguars in what the Bears did this offseason. So last offseason, the Jaguars went out, found a head coach that's actually competent. They added several weapons so that Trevor Lawrence can actually have someone to throw the ball to, someone that can get separation. They added, Evan Ingram, Zay Jones, Christian Kirk. All the pieces worked out, by the way. There was a lot of people that said they were all overpaid, and all three of them worked out in big ways. So it worked really well in Jacksonville. Likewise, the Bears have gone out. Some of their key additions here, I just want to run through them. DJ Moore, top-tier wide receiver, coming over in that trade that allowed the Panthers to take their quarterback of the future. Robert Tonyan gives you a tight end target. I think he's on a one-year free agent deal, but he gives you a target. The Bears spent some draft capital, picking up Tyler Scott with the 133rd overall pick, but it wasn't just weapons either. They added a couple of linemen. Nate Davis coming over from the Titans in free agency, and then Darnell Wright with the 10th overall pick in the NFL draft, trying to give Justin Fields a little bit more protection in the pocket. And also, it's worth noting, Chase Claypool, the trade from the Steelers, I would look to Chase Claypool to have more production this year. Not only are there going to be other weapons taking away some of the attention that he might have had last year from defenses, but also now he's been in the system over the offseason, so he probably has a much better mastery of what he's supposed to be doing on the football field. So all these things make the Bears a better team. That combined with the division got worse, kind of. Aaron Rodgers leaving the Packers means the Packers are probably either the worst team in the division or the second worst team. It depends if the Bears make leaps and strides forward. The Lions are a trendy pick to make the playoffs, but the Lions have yet to show us they can put it together for an entire season. They almost made the playoffs last year. Had week 18 gone a little bit differently, they might have snuck in there. So the Lions are a trendy pick for that division. And the Vikings, who had a really good record, but I don't think many people look at the Vikings as a top-tier team. They won a lot of very close games last season, so I don't think they're a great team. They're a good team for sure, and they still do have a good quarterback, but they're far from infallible. So the division is open. It's not wide open in the same sense that the NFC South is wide open or that the AFC South is wide open for the Jaguars. It's not as easy a division as those ones. Every team actually could make an argument that they could still be a playoff team. But there's no elite team in that division. And that's what could allow the Bears to go and win the division. If the Vikings can't win some of those close games, they're going to take a step back. The Lions are really looking for their defense to make positive strides forward, but if that doesn't happen, they could be back in that boat where they have a bad defense and a great offense and have to win shootouts all the time. That's not exactly a consistent way to win. If Jordan Love doesn't work out for the Packers could be sunk from the get-go. They might actually be a bad team if that doesn't work. So the Bears could be in a position where they just need to win 10 or 11 games and they could win that division or at least be very close. So for those reasons, I really like the Bears as the pick of a team that could go from last to first. With all of that said, though, they may be the highest stakes team in football this season when it comes to its make or break time. Because if all these acquisitions, all this money that's been spent does not pan out, you're going to be getting a new head coach. Depending on how the quarterback position goes, the Bears might suddenly be in the quarterback market again if Justin Fields can't make it work with all these weapons. Because what the Bears have effectively done, I actually really like this, they've removed the excuses for the offense. You have a decent line. You have good weapons across the board. Justin Fields has been in the NFL for a little while now, so he should have a pretty good handle on what's happening and the game speed. So if Justin Fields can't make it work now, it's likely the Bears look at this and go, he's probably never going to make it work. It's time to move on. It's time to blow it up and rebuild, or at least try to find a quarterback that can make this set of weapons work. Because on paper, the Bears should have a decent offense. They already have a decent defense. The Bears actually should be a pretty good football team. And sure, even if they don't win the division, a successful season for the Bears in the NFC, which is far weaker than the AFC, a playoff berth, a wild card berth, would be a successful season for the Bears, and it is well within reach in their division and in their conference. So the Bears are my 2023 pick for going from last to first. If you like that or dislike that, let me know in the comments down below who your pick is. If it's some other team, give us a rationale as well. I'm curious what other people are thinking out there. If you like the video, like, share, subscribe, and YouTube will give you a few more videos from the channel for you to watch, and I will see every one of you in the next one.